And welcome back to another Captain Paperweight tutorial. I'm Captain Paperweight, and today we are building a gold farm. So, first, why do I need a new gold farm? Well, I had the Silent Whisper version built in my, well, not my realm, in a realm that I'm playing on, and I actually didn't build it, my brother-in-law did. But anywho, and after this update 1.18.30, it stopped working. And I went up and I looked at it and I noticed that there was basically not enough space above the egg, so they wouldn't see it anymore. Now obviously it was built right, it was working 100% fine, no issues, nothing with it until after the update. So something about how that farm was designed has caused this change. Somehow the change has caused that farm to no longer work, and I think it's because there's not enough space between the egg and the ceiling. So, but once you delete that little block there, the half slab's okay. They'll still track through it. Boom, they start tracking immediately. So that was obviously the issue to get this functioning again, and then I went ahead and I made my own little design. I went ahead and I made a larger middle platform here, as opposed to going like I think it's 5 or 6 platforms up and just copying this one. Which was done before, and then having them all fall through that one center channel. This one I did a little differently, spread it out on the second level, and only went 3 levels high with just another regular platform up top to drop into there. That has produced drops that are better than the rates I was seeing in the last farm, and so we'll go down into that in a second. But as you can see, basically we have magma blocks, so that way only the zombified piglins end up spawning, and then we're using turtle eggs to attract them and move them around, and then we're actually using sand and cactus to prevent them from pathing behind the eggs, and that channels them directly in front to where the coral they think they can walk on, they actually can't, and they fall through. So a lot of these concepts pretty common, pretty simple. I would say this is probably the first time I've seen cactus and sand being used to block the pathing, but it does seem to work relatively well and is relatively cheap. You don't have to worry about walls or anything else. So with that, let's go ahead and get down into the drops, and I'll show you those. Boom. So down here I have it set up, and actually real quick just to show you, I do have it currently stopped, so all these numbers that you're about to see are accurate. They haven't been added to while I've been out here trying to record this. I did have it blocked off. So let's check these out. So this was, oh yeah, I already turned them into the gold bricks. Oh no. Totally forgot I had done that. So basically, I had the double chest here full, this one and this hopper full, and I had 45 gold nuggets in here. This was just the regular gold nugget drops that I would get from them dying. This one was the ingots, and I only had 2 stacks and 56 in here, which is still actually pretty good for 8 hours. And then of course we have the zombie flesh, and this one actually had a stack and almost a half in it, which I did notice, unfortunately, because I already converted everything into the gold ingots. I can't show you. I forgot to record that part. There was 45 right here, so it was almost the exact same rate of drops for the gold nuggets as for the rotten flesh, which I thought was actually pretty nice. And then in here I had 18 full stacks of gold nuggets from smelting the swords, and I had a stack of 18 right here as well. This was also a huge improvement in the prior farm. I would say I'd have somewhere between, like, this first row was always full, and then it would stop somewhere between this one and this one for 8 hours. And so getting an extra 4 to even maybe 5 extra stacks just in the swords is also a huge improvement as well. Gosh, I do apologize. I totally forgot I had already converted it into the gold ingots. But this is everything, all the drops over 8 hours, which, you know, if you're from Java, it doesn't look like that's very much potentially, but for Bedrock, this is actually pretty good rates. I believe that's something like 768 ingot blocks. So let's go ahead and let's head on up, and I'll go over the exacts of the drop rates. Alright, so how did the drop rates end up being? So in a 8-hour period, I had 5,311 gold drops. I technically had 9,683 total drops, but that was because of the rotten flesh. And we're not going to count that because, you know what? That's not why we're here. So, what that equates to in an is 664 gold drops an hour. Now, when I say gold drops, I'm including the gold nuggets and then the swords that get turned into gold nuggets, as well as the ingots. So that equates to 664 gold drops an hour, or 96 gold ingots an hour if you convert all the gold nuggets into ingots, or basically 1.5 stacks an hour in the gold ingots. So like I was saying earlier, that is actually really, really good for Bedrock. Not so good if you're on Java, but that is actually really good for us. So, anywho, let's go ahead and let's get into the build. Okay, so materials list. I didn't get a 100% accurate materials list, but here is what I've got for you guys. So you are going to need at least 18 of dead coral. I went with the dead fire coral fans. You're going to need a minimum of 6 turtle eggs. Now, this is so you can have one in each one of those little spots. Now, there is no difference to how well they track. There's no change in how they track depending on how many eggs you have in there. But if you're like me and you like to have the 4 just for the aesthetic, that's going to be a total of 24 eggs that you would need. But you only need 6. You're going to need 18 pieces of cactus, 18 pieces of sand for all the little bays, and then building blocks to build all of the platforms and the little walls that we have going on down here. You are going to need a stack and 8 blocks minimum for that. Then you're going to need 3 signs and some lava for down there. You're going to need glass for this chute. I'd say that's 2 stacks of glass, maybe a stack and a half. Like I said, this isn't 100% accurate. Then of course you're going to need magma blocks. Because you're doing in essence 6 of these platforms, I would say you're going to need at least 8 to 9 stacks of magma blocks. It could be more, it could be less. Not 100% positive on that. When it comes to the half slabs, if you're only going to put in what's needed for the farm to function, you're only going to need 40 slabs. Now, if you want to then cover it up to help despawn for the gas, I would say that's once again going to be easily probably, I'd say 14 to 15 stacks of half slabs. And the reason I say that is because not only are you covering the same amount that you would for the magma blocks, for, you know, the bottom sides of this, and then to also cover over this, you're also going to have to despawn up here and then over the top of this as well, so you're kind of doubling this space as well. So that's why I'm saying you're probably going to need about 14 to 15 half slabs, stacks of half slabs to fully despawn it. And then of course you'll need your looting 3 sword. Doesn't need to be netherite, just needs to have looting 3 for the best drop rates. And then, like I said, I put in about 3 to 4 of the tridents to help try to kill them faster. I noticed that from one of the prowl videos that I mentioned earlier. And, you know, obviously the quicker you kill them, the faster you get their loot, and their spawn spot is available. Although by the time they fall down into your killing chamber, their spawn spot should already be available at that point anyways. But hey, let's kill them fast. But yeah. So that should be roughly all the materials. Like I said, I do apologize. I did not get an exact amount of magma blocks. but it is definitely significant. Same with the half slabs, but I also believe that my numbers are probably fairly accurate, and you probably won't need to gather more than that. You might have a few left over though. But anywho, alright, so yeah, let's go ahead and get this build going. Like I was saying, I'm not going to go into too much detail on the Trident Killer. Got your 4 pistons, your observers, powering the pistons, and then whatever you want to use on the outside here. I'm using redstone instead of like a rail or anything else, a drop or whatever. Mainly because I want it to be a little bit slower, so I'm ensuring that these guys fall in and start getting hit, you know, as quickly as possible, and they're not getting like bounced around in there because it's moving too fast. And then also, like I said, the only thing that is different is you will need to add on one side of the chute, because it is 3 by 1 wide, a piston to push the guys into the kill chamber. And on whatever side that is, just put a half slab, some redstone, your piston, and you are good to go off of one of the corners. And then what you want to do, of course, first is we want to be 24 blocks away from where we are AFKing. Now, me personally, I actually like to hang out a little bit lower, unless your station is like up above the Trident Killer, you'll have to adjust accordingly for like 24 blocks. But assuming you're sitting somewhere in this range, like next to it, whatever, go ahead and let's start out with, from the bottom of the kill chamber here, the same level as the pistons, go up 24 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. I already got 4, so I got to go up 20 more levels. And then you don't need to do the corners if you don't want to. I would also maybe put some half slabs over here if you want, if this is an area that you're going to come into and you don't have like a portal or something right behind you, so that way you don't have things spawning in your AFK area as you come into it. But other than that, you don't need to have glass all the way around. You just need to cover it up like so, and like I said, make it 24 high from the bottom of the Trident Killer. Alright, I also did forget something else too. So, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8 or so blocks up the side. Go ahead and get yourself some signs and a bucket of buckets of lava. Oops. And then also some lava. Bam. We'll just do one. And place 3 signs right there. And then place a bucket of lava in the center here. And that's to help slow them down when they fall. Now, to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if this even helps. I do know it's not hurting because they never land on the signs and like die halfway up, and they're always hitting the bottom of the Trident Killer and not dying immediately from fall damage. So if it's not helping, it's at least not hurting. But yeah. So about right there, go ahead and put that there, then close it back up, and get back up here to the 24th level above, or 24th block. And then here you're going to want to start with your magma blocks, and also your building block, which I'm using these guys. So you want to pick a side. I'm going to pick this side. Go ahead and start building around in your magma blocks, and then when you get here to this side, what we want to do is use your building blocks and build that out like so, and then you can kind of finish that up there. And then what you're going to want to put here is you're going to want your turtle eggs, And you're also going to need your coral. And we'll use fire, why not? And then, so go ahead and put your coral right there, boop, boop, boop. And then your turtle eggs right here in the center. And then you want to make sure you got your sand on you and your cactus. Alright, and then go ahead and place your sand right around the eggs like so. Cactus, cactus, cactus. And boom, you've got your first attraction chamber set up. Now, on this first platform, it's going to be kind of like that pretty standard one that we're kind of used to get maximum coverage here. So basically what you're doing is from this block right here, you're going out 10 on all 4 sides, and then you work it in accordingly, and I'll show you. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So that's as far out as we can go there, and then we do it on all the other sides as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now that you got that all set up like so, go in one block, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then go in another block, then 1, 2. Then in another block, and 1, in another block, and 1. And then off of this block, go ahead and add 1, 2. Then come out 1 block, then 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And you do that same pattern all the way around, and then fill it in. Alright, and now we have the platform done. So next we want to come to these little single edge pieces on all 4 corners. And what we're actually going to want to do is go ahead and break that one. Take your building blocks, go 3 wide here, and then go up 1, 2, 3 blocks. Okay? And then, oh actually sorry, go up 4 blocks, because this is where we're going to have our next level. Like so. And if you notice, this is little 3x1 drop piece is going to become another one of these. So we're going to have, of course, our eggs, and we need our coral as well. So go ahead and place your eggs. You really only need to place 1. I'm just placing the max because it's fun to do. And then you'll also need a block there, and then sand and cactus. And then of course go ahead and put your coral in. Doot, doot, doot. I always put it on this edge of the magma block, but it doesn't matter which side you put it on. They will still track to it. And so we got that there, boom, that one's good. And then we're gonna do this whole little thing on all 4 of the edges. Now, can't remember if I explained why I'm doing this, but real quick, the reason why is having that one little nub there, like building it out and around and leaving that spot there for spawning. I noticed that when they would fall down, every once in a while 1 or 2 of them would get stuck on those edges, and they could take up to a couple of minutes to finally get themselves loose and tracking to the egg. So to help with making sure they're not causing spawning delays, I went ahead and said let's just get rid of it, and that seems to be working really well. They don't seem to get stuck there, or if they do, it's maybe for 5 to 10 seconds most. So that definitely did help. Now go ahead and do this on all 4 of those sides. Alright, so now you should have done this on each of those edges of that bottom platform. And then before I get into how will you end up building this top platform because of how these all merge together, let's go ahead and go down here real quick. Now, I was mentioning the half slabs, and you know, if you're not too concerned about having gas spawning and you don't think it's going to be an issue, you don't have to use half slabs on the bottom of these platforms to prevent them from spawning. That'll save you a bunch of materials and also up top. The only reason why I'm doing it in my version is because I'm on a realm, and I just like to guarantee I have as few things spawned and floating around as possible. So if that's the case, you can definitely add those as well. Now, regardless of which way you do it, there are certain areas where you have to have slabs. So above each and every one of these traps on all the levels, you'll need to make sure that there is this T of half slabs. So there's one above the eggs and then also one above both of the cactuses, or all three of the cactuses. I swear I can count. And that's just to ensure that they path correctly, and then they also can't like jump and still end up reaching the egg. So yeah, that's one thing I wanted to make sure we had covered up there. Now let's go ahead and go up over here. Now these are going to basically be set up exactly like the bottom ones. You're going to go out, you know, the 10 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like you did on that bottom one, from each of these, and you're going to go out all three of the corners on these outside corners here, because obviously all the stuff on the inside will be filled in. And you just do that same pattern you did before. 1, 2, 3, 4 over, in, over 2, in, over 1, in, then over 2, and then in one more and over 4. You just kind of repeat that pattern, and then you do go ahead and put that 10th block, because both these got this egg and this egg will be seeable to anything that spawns on this one. So yes, do put that in essence 10th spot away block, and then start that whole pattern again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 1, 1, 2, and 4. And do that all the way around and fill that in. And oh, don't forget to put your coral. Looks like I forgot to put coral right here. Dang, I'm not even done. Should I be moving on to the next spot? Anyhow, so yeah, so go ahead and get that all filled out and make sure you have all your coral in pieces where they're supposed to be. And it should look somewhat like this now, or well, exactly like this. And then go ahead and go into the very center. Go up 1, 2, 3 blocks of any kind, and then put your building block on the 4th block, and then get rid of these. And then this is going to be where your eggs go. And then go ahead and build your 3 spots out, and then start making your 3x1 hole for the zombie piglins to fall through. Get your coral in there, your sand, and then your cactus. And then once again, go ahead and I would build up another 4 high, and then do a half slab little bridge over to make sure you've got those half slabs where they need to be. And bam. Oops, I went 1 too high, so sorry. Yeah, 1, 2, 3 high, and boom. So good to go. That'll prevent the cactus from growing, make it to where they can only path to there. And if you don't want to do any other sort of coverage to prevent spawning of the gas, that'll be the last slabs that you end up using. And then build out this last platform, just like the very first one we did. So it's going to be a single one, and you should have the last platform done at that point. Go ahead and make sure you got this all set up with the half slabs, and then also make sure you have some half slabs on top of those guys, and also down here in the middle, don't forget to do those, and then add the half slabs on top of that. Now, if you want to go ahead and take the time to make sure that it's completely despawned for ghasts as well, go ahead and extend these out over the tops of all of the platforms, so out to here on this top one, and then on this second row here all the way out, covering all of it. And then also don't forget to put the half slabs on the underside of the second and third platforms. Once you have that all done, go ahead, head on down to your little AFK spot, make sure you build yourself some sort of sorting system, and you definitely want to make sure you have some sort of smelting system for all those swords to turn them into gold nuggets. Otherwise, you're going to have an insane amount of chests to catch all of those swords, and you don't want it to clog everything and start losing drops. Also, last but not least, make sure that you take the time to go ahead and go around and check that everything is despawned around you. I'd say at least 50 blocks out should be good enough and sufficient. And then also make sure you check beneath you, depending on where you're at, that there's no caves or anything down there. And then also, like over here, you want to make sure you also check above you, because you may have like platforms like this that you'll want to completely despawn, so that way it doesn't affect the rates. But anywho, that should be it for today's tutorial. Thank you for watching, and always definitely like and subscribe. Check out some of my other videos if you want to as well. I am doing another series. It's the second season, but they're only coming out every month and a half. But if I find some more interest, I'll definitely make that happen more often. But that should be it. And with that, as always, this is Captain Paperweight.